all you found on him?
That's all he was carrying. Who was he, Filippo?
Just a courier.
And why did somebody want him killed?
He was carrying assurances of help to Republican sympathizers here in Florence.
Mm-hmm.
Have you any idea, Julius, who the someone is that wanted this courier killed?
No.
You're working for the best now, Julius. De Medici himself.
De Medici? Look, I've done this right, haven't I, Filippo?
So far. Now we have to find out who the courier was to meet. He, too, must be taken care of.
Did it say anything about it in there?
The name Orsini is mentioned.
Well, there's lots of Orsinis in Florence. Does it say where this one lives?
No. But it does say where he was to meet the courier. We'll start from there.
Where's that?
At the studio of the artist, Marco Del Monte.
Marco, mealtime. Here it is.
Magnificent. That's the only word for it. Magnificent.
Yes, magnificent. Veal and mushrooms.
And you know, I think there's real tenderness there.
The bouquet, exquisite.
Bouquet. That's it, Sandro. You know, sometimes you have a great feeling for words. The expression on her face is like a bouquet of freshly cut flowers. Oh, I've never painted eyes like that. What a pity it is that her husband always insists on accompanying her every time she comes to the studio.
This is the one time when you have to give all your admiration to the painting and not to the model.
Do you think he comes here because he admires my work or because he doesn't trust his wife?
I think he comes here because he's only been married a few weeks. And he doesn't want to let his new wife out of his sight.
Well, it's understandable. Here's to our happy honeymoon, Signora Orsini.
Carlo, I got them.
What did you get?
Peaches, don't you remember? When I went out, I said if there were any in the market, I'd buy some.
Of course, peaches. How could I have possibly forgotten? What could be more exciting than peaches when you're in love? When you're married to the most charming, delightful, and exciting woman in all Italy.
Only Italy?
The world. In all the world. I wonder if you're as happy as I am.
Carlo, I never in my most romantic dreams imagined marriage could be so wonderful. Let's come back to Florence for every anniversary.
Right? But I think we ought to make it a formal pact. How shall we seal it?
For something so important as an anniversary in blood.
No. This is better. Just a minute. Signora Orsini, don't you have a sitting today for your portrait?
Oh, my goodness. What time is it?
I don't know, but I think you better get ready. It wouldn't do to keep such a celebrated artist as Marco Del Monte waiting.
Yeah, Marco, we'd better hurry. Signor Orsini and his wife will be here in a few minutes.
They never come early.
This may be the time.
Signor Marco Del Monte,
Yes?
this is an intrusion. Forgive me. The Signora Orsini has, I believe, an appointment with you.
Yes, at 2 o'clock.
She regrets that she will be unable to keep it. Her husband has disappeared and she is too distraught to come to her usual sitting.
Her husband's disappeared.
The Signora hoped that you would be able to assist her in finding him.
Well, I have no reputation for bringing back lost husbands.
She would like a search to be made. She begs you to make a drawing of her husband from memory. With such a drawing, she will be able to engage men to search the city. She is willing to pay well.
Give the man a drink, Sandro. Any man who leaves a woman like that deserves to get lost. It'll be payment enough if I can be of any assistance to the Signora. By the time you finish that, I'll have a speaking likeness of the missing husband. There you are.
With this, there should be no trouble. Your servant, Signor. Forgive me, Signor, I have such a terrible head for numbers. I've suddenly realized that I've forgotten the number of the Orsini's villa. I feel such a dolt presenting myself at the wrong house.
Number 15, I think it is.
That's right, of course. 15 Via dei...
Dei Pecori.
Pecori, of course. Again, your servant, Signor.
Now, what would you think of a man that allowed himself to get lost with a wife like that?
Maybe he discovered she can't cook.
Carlo, why are you always looking out of the window like that? What's so interesting in the street?
I've been waiting for someone, and now I think my wait is over.
I don't understand. Waiting for whom?
Lisa, my darling, our honeymoon wasn't the only reason we came to Florence. I had another reason for coming, but I hoped you'd never have to know about it.
What do you mean?
I believe a man out there who's watching this house is an agent of de Medici. So now I must tell you everything because I'll have to leave you.
Carlo, what are you saying?
Darling, I must go into hiding.
Hiding? You mean we'll be separated?
I hope it'll only be for a short time, until we can get away safely.
Tell me this other reason why you've come here.
Because I'm a leader of the movement to set up a republic in Florence. Therefore, I'm an enemy of Medici.
I know so little about you, and you're my husband.
3 days ago, a courier should have arrived from Rome with a message for me. He hasn't come. If Medici's men ambushed him on the way here,
They might have learned about you.
they can know my name, that's all. None of them know what I look like.
That is why you have to disappear
Yes,
and leave me alone.
for no longer than I can help.
Oh, Carlo, you should have married someone else, someone brave and practical. I haven't the courage for intrigues.
When Florence is a republic again, we can forget intrigue. I live for that day.
What must I do until you return?
Behave as normally as possible.
Do I continue to go to the artist's studio?
Oh, above all, Marco's our only contact with the courier, should he still come.
Is Marco a friend?
If he knew my reason for being here, he'd be sympathetic to the cause. But I don't want him to know. I don't want him compromised if things go wrong.
The man outside is coming towards the house.
See him. Tell him you don't know where I am. One warning only. Don't describe me to him.
Will you be here when I come back?
No.
Where will you be?
Nearer than you think. Within 200 paces of this villa. It's better you don't know where in case they question you.
Oh, Carlo.
I'll always love you, my darling. No matter what happens.
Please forgive this intrusion, my lady, but could you possibly direct me to Signor Carlo Orsini?
Can you... Do you know him?
Well, the fact is that I represent the Committee of Welcome to this fair city of Florence. We try to ensure that visitors to our city are made to feel at home. And it has come to our attention that not only is Signor Orsini newly arrived, but newly wed as well. A small reception has been planned in his honor, and it is my happy task to deliver the invitation.
I see. I'm afraid my husband isn't in just now, but I'll give him your message.
Thank you, my lady. You're most kind. Your servant, my lady.
Two o'clock. Well, the Signora isn't coming and I have a free afternoon. What shall we do, Sandro? Shall we go to the square and argue about politics? Or do you want to go to the town and quarrel about art again? No, I think I'd like to go for a swim.
You're going to have to stay right where you are.
I'm so late. I hope you didn't think I wasn't going to come.
Well, Signora, this is quite a surprise.
There are so many wonderful things to stop and look at in Florence. How does anyone arrive anywhere on time? But I suppose you want to start work at once.
No, that's all right. I think perhaps we'd better talk.
Well, then, we can talk while you work.
Signora, I don't understand. You're looking even more beautiful than ever.
Now, because my husband isn't here, you mustn't attempt...
No, that's not what I meant. I expected at least to see some red in your eyes from tears.
I've had no reason for tears.
Oh. Then the loss of your husband doesn't distress you as much as your messenger suggested?
What messenger?
Well, he left just before you arrived.
I sent no messenger. What did he come for?
He came to tell me that you were too distraught to turn up for your appointment.
I don't understand. Is that all he said?
Well, he asked me to do a drawing of your husband.
And you did this?
But of course, at your request.
Not at my request. Don't you understand? He was sent by de Medici. But how could you understand? Even I didn't know until...
What has de Medici got to do with this?
His men are looking for Carlo. If they find him, I'll never see him again. With this drawing from you?
Then your husband is working for the overthrow of the Medici power in this city?
I can't say any more.
Where is your husband now? Well, surely he must have told you that I can be trusted. Don't you realize how serious this is?
Carlo said we were not to compromise you.
Compromise me? What choice do you have? Do you want your husband to fall into de Medici's hands?
He said he would be within 200 paces of our villa at the Via dei Peccori.
Well, I hope that's more than de Medici's assassins know. By now, they'll have already started combing the city. Now, you'd better stay here. Sandra will look after you.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to try and find your husband and see if I can help him.
Take me, for instance. A man like myself is ready to die for the Republic. We get no chance.
Live for it, Alfonso. It'll come soon.
What can we do without money? De Medici controls all the money in Florence.
They'll send us some from Rome.
And it will fall straight into de Medici's hands. He knows about our plans before we do. De Medici's assassins.
Is there a way out of this place?
There's a back door. Over there.
I'll try it.
Ah, there you are, my friend. I've been looking everywhere for you. I'm so sorry. I'm so terribly sorry, but I'm afraid your search is quite useless.
Why?
Well, it's very stupid of me, of course, but as soon as you left my studio, I began to think, and I remembered that certain details of the features of this Signor Orsini, I'd completely left them out. Now, I could make your search very much easier if you'd just give me the drawing for a few minutes.
The drawing is clear enough.
No, my dear fellow, it should be perfectly obvious. I haven't done justice to this sketch. I could think of a dozen men that look vaguely like this. Now, if you just let me have the drawing for a few minutes, I'll put in certain details that will make any mistake impossible.
There he is!
Oh, don't worry, Signora. It'll be all right. An artist has friends everywhere. In the palace, in taverns. Marco will know where to look.
Did you find him? Is he safe?
Well, unfortunately, de Medici's men caught up with him.
Did they take him?
No, he escaped. But at least they no longer have this to help them. Take it away, Sandra, and burn it.
They'll remember what he looked like.
Not unless they catch him right away. After a few days, they'll never be able to identify him.
Someone followed you.
Now, gently. You can't afford to be nervous when you're trying to outwit the Medici. Yes, Giulio?
I was in the tavern just now, and I got the impression you were interested in the same man as the agents of His Magnificence.
Well, now, what is it you're trying to sell?
Information about him.
Oh, I'm afraid I have all the information I need.
No. Perhaps he knows where Carlo is. Ask him how much he wants.
Signora, that's no way to deal with Giulio. I know him.
We have come to agreements in the past.
Do you know where Signor Orsini is at this moment?
Yes, I know.
How much?
10 gold florins.
But that's absurd. You could tell me nothing that's worth that much.
Tell me what you know.
Thank you. With pleasure, Signora.
Where is my husband?
Your husband? He's in the palace of the Medici.
They found him.
Yes. Unfortunately, an informer followed him from the tavern and sold his information to the Medici. I'm sorry, Signora. For 10 gold florins, I should have preferred to bring you better news. But alas, I live by the truth.
How can you work? My husband is lying in some dungeon, and all you do is waste time.
I'm not wasting time, Signora. I'm simply waiting.
Waiting for what?
Until news of your husband's arrest might logically have reached me.
What will you do then?
Then I shall go to the de Medici palace.
I'll go with you.
No, I don't think so.
But I must see Carlo.
It's too dangerous.
I don't care. It may be my last chance.
If I do take you with me, you'll need more than courage. Your husband's life may depend on how you act.
I'll do anything.
De Medici is as subtle as a fox. He'll set traps for both of us.
Traps?
With words. He is a master at catching people out by springing questions on them when they least expect it.
Do you think we have a chance?
If we play our roles properly, yes.
What must I do?
The one thing that you must remember, the one thing that is most important above all else, is that you should mask your true feelings from de Medici. The slightest glance that is out of character with the part that you will be playing may bring death to your husband. Now come over here and sit down and listen very carefully to what I'll tell you. Now, the one thing that you must understand about de Medici is that when we arrive at the palace, magnificent, isn't it, Signora? Did you know that some of the greatest works of art in the world are in this palace? Unfortunately, I get very little opportunity to study any of them.
You're doing your best to make me feel less nervous, aren't you? You're very kind. But it's no use. I get more and more afraid.
Now, it's still not too late to change your mind. You can leave if you want to, and I'll manage on my own.
No, I must see Carlo.
Then you must take a strong hold of yourself. And remember, if you show the slightest sign of fear, de Medici will guess the truth. All right?
Signora Orsini and the artist Marco Del Monte.
Marco Del Monte.
Your Magnificence.
It is not often that you honor me with a visit and in company with a beautiful young woman.
This is Signora Orsini.
You look afraid. Not of me, I hope.
It is not fear that you see in her eyes, Magnificence.
No? Naturally, I would not question the opinion of an artist. You are far more qualified than I am to read the emotions in a woman's face. But tell me, if it is not fear, then what is it?
It is anxiety. The Signora's husband has disappeared.
Disappeared? How distressing.
The Signora learned today that your men had arrested some man near the Via dei Pecori. It would naturally ease her mind if she could find out something about your prisoner.
But what can I tell her? The man was a spy, so of course he could not be the Signora's husband, could he?
No.
That is indeed fortunate, because I have just given orders for the villain's immediate execution.
Then that man couldn't possibly be my husband. He never did anything to justify execution or even arrest.
Of course, if there is the slightest doubt in your mind, I can very quickly set it at rest. Marco Del Monte, have you long been acquainted with the Signora and her husband?
Signor Orsini engaged me to paint a portrait of his wife, and he used to accompany her every day to the sitting.
How wise of him. Signora, if there is anything I can do to help you to find your husband...
Thank you, Your Excellence. But you've already been too kind.
Marco, I have some new bronzes of which I think most highly. You must come sometime and give me your opinion of them.
Your Magnificence.
This man? No. He is not my husband.
Oh, come now, this comedy has gone far enough. This is the man who accompanied you to Marco's studio, is it not?
No.
Then you are apparently unaware of Marco's reputation as an artist. This man was identified from a portrait sketch by Marco himself.
I made no drawing of this man. I was asked to sketch the Signora's husband.
Bring me the sketch.
I'm afraid the drawing was left in the tavern, Your Excellence. You see, we no longer had any need for it. We had seen the man we were looking for. We caught him and brought him here. This is the man.
An understandable mistake, Your Magnificence. After all, how many people can identify someone from a drawing that they no longer have? An artist, yes. Are your agents artists, too?
You still insist that this man was not the subject of your portrait?
I never forget a face.
You made the drawing from memory? Of course. Then I assume you would have no difficulty in making it again.
No difficulty at all, Your Magnificence.
Excellent. I have the materials here. You may begin at once.
Charcoal, Your Magnificence. Don't worry, I'll invent a face that doesn't exist. Thank you.
Oh, Marco, there is just one more point. You and I, we know each other. I know that you have two weak spots, the Republican cause and a beautiful woman. Now, it may be in your mind to trick me over this. It may even have occurred to you to draw the face of a man who doesn't exist. So let me make your position absolutely clear. You and this lady and this gentleman will remain here until the man whose face you draw is found. And if by some misfortune my men fail to find him, then none of you will ever see the light of day again. Do you understand?
I understand perfectly, Your Magnificence.
Good. Now we shall see what Orsini really looks like. I'm sorry, my dear. This must all be very distressing for you. Do you realize what I have done? Marco has to choose between betraying your husband and losing his own life, and it is fascinating to contemplate what he will do.
There. Orsini.
But that isn't the same drawing that you made before.
Of course it isn't. I've drawn the face from a different angle, for one thing. Do you think I'm some kind of a copying machine?
That isn't a drawing of the prisoner.
I already explained to His Magnificence that it wouldn't be, and for a very good reason. That isn't the man.
What's to be done with him, then?
We keep him here until we find this one. Bring in Julius.
Why did you have to draw my husband? You could have drawn the prisoner who was in here just now. They think he's my husband, so they would have believed you.
But you want me to implicate an innocent man?
Yes. No, I don't know.
You know this face.
I think I have seen it somewhere before.
Yes, you have. It's the same face that I drew for you before, only with a few changes here and there to make it more accurate.
I know where it was. This man's dead. What do you mean? It's the one we killed in the tavern. That's right. That's the man we left dead on the floor.
Then if you have killed the man in my portrait, you have killed Orsini.
Release the prisoner.
I don't know who you are, but thank you.
Signora, I do not often make a mistake, but I seem to have made one in this case. I apologize for the unpleasantness to which you have been subjected as a result.
Is there anything else you wish of me?
Nothing. Take her home, and my gratitude for your cooperation.
Your Magnificence.
Well, it's all over. Come now, Senora. Real tears? We mustn't have that. Your husband is expecting a honeymoon portrait.